I do like how we're gonna see a fresh war with totally different tracks, different hosts as well. Obviously, because that's just the structure of best of threes. MN are gonna be able to host the second match as they are the lower seed going into the finals.
Definitely, and I don't know if there's any sub-ins going in. I think I heard something about maybe Signal subbing out after match 1, so there might be a new bagger coming out for AC. Yeah, Boodog is going to be coming in for Signal for match 2, so interesting to see how Boodog is going to be able to measure up to Zach, because I haven't seen Boodog bag on custom tracks, so it's going to be interesting to see how he performs.
I feel like Boodog definitely has more knowledge of the different tracks than Signal did. I think he spent more time in that area. And that's interesting because usually you would expect the team that lost to make a sub, right? You know, AC seemed fairly dominant for the majority of that war, so they don't really have a need to change anything. But it does make a little bit of sense to be bringing in a bagger that they're more confident in, because their runners. I mean, they're going to have the same runners. The runners did really well, but shocks weren't too heavily in their favor. I think that it was more just about which team was using them better, and then executing what they needed to do after the shock came in each of those races.
Nah, don't you worry. If I know Signal, it's bedtime.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. That could be a bit of a time zone issue as well, because it is going to get pretty late for the European players in the room. And I think MN, they do have a decent amount of European players themselves.
Definitely. What do you think will come out going into match 2? What tracks are you looking at?
Dude, I don't know. I don't really know what it looks like when they start to dig into the vault of their backup tracks. I don't know. I think MN might pick something like Rainbow Road Solar Edition. I think they like that track a lot, especially with Ivan hosting. I think he might be, the fastest player on their team, maybe the fastest in the room even, you could say. But yeah, I don't know too much about what AC is gonna do. Maybe they'll have some surprises for us. Who knows?
This is where I'm curious to see what comes out, because we've gotten past the first match. All the teams' tracks that they like to play, it's kind of like staples for their team. All that's gone. All that's out the window. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna bring in their backpacks. Like what are their true pocket picks that we're gonna see come out, and that's something I'm interested to see.
And we don't usually see scrims get to this point, right? And that's the majority of the way these teams practice. So definitely going to have to see some improvisation from both of these teams during the races, which will be interesting. But also, maybe there were some tracks that they wanted to pick during match 1 that they didn't get the chance to, that we could see as well. So who knows how this is going to go, honestly. It could definitely go in MN's favor, since they do have a lot of their favorite tracks left on the board.
And with that, we're seeing, AC going up 1-0 in the first match. So what do you think happens match 2?
I think the first 3 races will really tell us how it's going to go, because I think MN, they have a chance now to bring it back, redeem themselves, tie up the series. But AC definitely have momentum from match 1. They took it pretty comfortably, pretty easily. And they seem to be doing a lot of things right as a team, and that's something that, when that energy is there in your call, it's a lot easier to keep that up. It's a lot easier to keep up the same energy than to have to turn it around, if your team just lost. So I still think AC is going to take it. I think that, they're still a little better, and I think that they're going to handle these pocket track picks a little bit better, since they are a little bit more versatile.
All right, so we're seeing a lot of what we saw before. The Cool Castle Canyon coming out. I'm interested to see what the other track pick is going to go. They're going Lava Lake, it looks like.
These are, yeah. So Cool Castle Canyon is a track that people like to pick it a lot when it came out, a couple years ago, I'd say. It has some Shuma shortcuts, really no off-road catch up with, so it could definitely be a strong running track, as there are also good trapping spots. So hopefully for MN's sake, they can take advantage of that. But recently, this track doesn't really get picked that often. It's kind of there, but I feel like a lot of newer tracks have kind of replaced its utility, with the shroomless shortcuts and the running ability that it offers. But it does make sense that we're seeing it come out in the second match.
Fair enough. So going into it, we're up. Start of the race, we're seeing Noda getting bumped a little bit. So he's gonna try and redeem what he can, but he's gonna fall to the back of the pack though, trying to get a red off on one of them, but doesn't quite connect. Going for these boxes right here, probably looking for shrooms. He actually does get a shroom, but probably not the shroom he's looking for. He does get a mega going into it, and brings him all the way up to 6th.
Oh, kind of messes up that strat there. That was a little spooky. Almost jumped off. Looks like Ivan's still holding down first for MN, which is what we expected to see from him. Since this is one of their stronger track picks. It's also a pretty easy track to bag. There's no really complicated strats. So the baggers should be pretty close to each other for the majority of this race, and I'm interested to see what Noda does with this mega.
I'm interested to see if he chains, or maybe he just holds it to see what the shock situation can look like. He does actually use the mega here.
Yeah, and I don't understand, what really the game plan was there, because Sawyer went for that cut despite there being a Nana on it, and it doesn't really make sense for that to happen, because you'd think that his teammate would have called that out. He should have known not to, and also Noda didn't expect that Nana to get taken out, so he used his mega, and now he no longer has it. So that's a little bit of a misplay from AC.
Definitely, but he does get a nice set of triple shrooms in 4th, so not too bad if you're Noda right now. Maybe look to shroom past to get in the 3rd, but
I would have maybe tried to bump him off there on that dock section if I were Noda, but looks like a blue just came out onto Ivan, and Noda has a good chance to shroom the first.
No, and there's going to be a shot coming in, so he drops a shroom going off for Stubbs. That's going to bring AC in the top 2, but there is someone in the power.
Yeah, I think that was an MN shock. It looks like Swampy. I think that, yeah, Swampy's going to be the one running away with this race in the end, as long as nothing happens on these last couple turns. Looks like AC are 2-3 because Noda's not dragging these nanas. He's just got to play safe and hold this spot.
And hope that Stubbs himself doesn't get hit by anything coming behind him. But
we see nanas all over the place that he has to avoid, but he does so cleanly, and that's going to be, I think, a pretty even race. I think MN got 1, 4, 5, 8 out of that, which is about as even as it gets.
Definitely not too bad of a change though for a nice little dodge coming out for Swampy. So that really changes after Ivan actually getting blued. So.
I think something to talk about for that race is, they did have a good chance with that shock to maybe catch up some more spots, but I think Vespa was just kind of trapped in 8th all race, and he just kind of got removed from the race on a track where that shouldn't really happen. There's no real strats that will cause you to fall too far behind. Definitely, he could have had the chance to get a star of his own and make his way up through the pack as well, but it didn't really work out for him. So MN settled with a 1-4-5. Probably not what they wanted for that track, although there was that fortunate blue for AC to finally take Ivan out of first.
Not too bad of a start though. It will be good enough to put MN in the lead, but not by a whole heck of a lot.
It's a little scary to see this match kind of starting the same way as the last one. AC, they got their track, they got shock, they had first for a while, and we did see AC kind of make some mistakes in the field, but they don't have that much to show for it,
That's just it. And I guess going into next race. Yeah, there you go. Rainbow Road Solar, just like what you were saying.
It's actually, this is AC picking that now, which is interesting. I guess it's because they are 2-3, and 2-3, they do get decent alignments at the start of the race, but I think it's also because Ivan is not in first, and they're looking to get this track off the board while he doesn't have the chance to run it. But Haunted Woods is going to come out. We are in for how do you even describe what this race is going to be? We're going to see a different type of gameplay than what you would see on most tracks. I'll say that.
Definitely, and it's I don't know. For me, this track is like the Luigi circuit of CTs, right? That really that one luck track that everyone thinks of when you think about You know the game. When I think of CTs, that's Haunted Woods for me, baby.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that. This track is just kind of nuts, especially in a competitive setting. Although I think they're making an update of this track that actually removes that huge mud shortcut on the right. And that will be out soon, which will probably simplify the track a little bit, make it a little bit more consistently winnable. Because right now, I don't know if anyone's really figured out how to actually win on this track. There's just so much that can happen.
Just bag for a gold and pray.
Also, Bill in 8th is crazy good because it will take you through that cut on the right as well. And there's no real way to control if you're going to get it or not. But it looks like Swampy does make it up for MN. He's going to be in first. There's also that mansion route that we saw Nota take on lap 1, where you get either a guaranteed mega or guaranteed triple shrooms, since there are 2 boxes. So I think Stubbs is going to go for it in second, and Nota's going to be forced to go around.
Definitely. Then. Oh, Nota opting not to get it. He's gonna be dropping the fib though.
It's also worth noting that that's some place that you could definitely use really powerful shocks. Is that if the other team is going for that mega box or that shroom box, you could shock them so that they don't get the chance to actually use that item, and they also lose time by going for that route. Yeah, that's definitely something that is an option for either of those teams.
We did see a blue coming out to take a Nota out of first, so unfortunate for that. Although he is going to find himself still in fourth, not too bad of a place to be right now. Getting a box, he's going to hit a nana, but he is able to stay on the track.
Pack is very spread out, as we probably expected to see. Really, this lap is going to come down to anyone who's able to dodge and bring shrooms up into a good spot. It seems like MN are gone in top 2, and only one of them is going for the mansion boxes. So I wonder what this blue is going to be able to really change for them. I think that's gonna be hitting Chi, unless he has a shroom.
Definitely, he's getting a nice golden in 5th though. That might be huge.
Yeah, he can take this cut and completely just dominate the field this race. But let's see if MN has any way to stop him. If they have shock here, he's wading into the cut. I don't think that's really necessary. I don't think that's the best way to do it. I'm pretty sure this golden will easily take him the whole way through.
Yeah,
just barely brings him onto the ramp. I don't know if he would have really passed Swampy regardless, but yeah, I do think that was a strange choice.
Definitely would have brought him a lot closer to Swampy. I'll give him that much. I'm not sure if it would have helped him beat him, but you never really know, right?
Yeah, that was kind of weird to see, because normally you'd think you'd want to get as far through the cut as you can quickly before, you know, a shock or a POW comes in, right? You'd rather wait at the end than at the beginning. Just so that you can get through the off-road and hopefully make it to the ramp if something goes wrong. But yeah, either way, he's still going to get second despite that really good pole. Swampy just kind of did one of the many win conditions on that track, which is, you know, stay in the front, go for the mansion boxes, use the mega or triple shrooms, and just stay up there every lap.
Definitely, and you know, Swampy finding himself with 30 after 2, very nice display for Swampy at the start of the match 2 here.
And I believe there was no shock that race on a track where shock could completely change, you know, where people are in the race, because losing your shrooms on that track or getting TS could completely end you, and chaining a star to a good item will literally just win you the race from any spot. So yeah, nothing too crazy happening that race, but again, MN are sort of creeping out in front.
Very much so, and we're seeing Peaks and DK Pass coming out.
DK Pass. This is okay. Yeah, this is a little bit of a newer pick, I think, for MN. A track that really does not get played very often. It's kind of weird, especially near the end. Once you get to like the bumpier part on this track, it's kind of like a weird DK mountain almost, where it's just kind of you're bouncing all over the place, avoiding boulders. And the top spots can usually hold top spots pretty well near the end, but at the beginning of the track, there is some room for mobility, since there are straightaways for drafting, and there's definitely some off-road as well that you could use to catch up.
Definitely, and an all-around decent catch-up track, but honestly, with how like split it seems these teams are, it doesn't really, I guess, matter, because both teams have the potential to pull any items they need to. really make it on up there. That's
And I don't think this track is like difficult enough to really be used as like a counter pick, you know. But having Bill in 5th after half a lap is definitely a good sight to see for MN.
definitely not even better for Ivan as well, because Ivan's sitting in 5th. You know, with the Bill in 5th, I believe even if you like when you use it in 5th, it'll try and take you as far as it possibly can. So,
yeah, definitely. Could easily break away in 1st if he does dodge. And that's pretty much what his motive is right now, is just to stay in a spot where he can win, but he's not really at risk of getting hit by anything. 5th place was a decent spot to be for that reason, because he's kind of surrounded by his teammates.
Especially with, you know, Swampy ahead of him, but he also has a little bit of a break behind the back of the pack too, so...
Yeah, MNR 2, 3, 4, 5. We can see that Noda has a POW in 7th, and AC also just pulled a Thundercloud in 6th place, so Stubbs is going to be kind of out of the race.
And it looks like
Ivan's going to be forced to build. Yeah, let's see if he can catch Charlie all the way. I think he might be able to on this last turn, but it could drop him in a rough spot. Yeah, he's really wide.
Wide of these snowmen, so very, very unfortunate draw for Ivan, but it's going to put him all the way in 2nd. You know, not too bad, but at this point they're going to really be hoping that MN can potentially pull a blue here.
Yeah, that would be huge for MN, as AC's bottom 3 is pretty far behind, and since MN are in 4-5, they could definitely pull a blue, and 1 blue is all it takes for them to totally blow this war wide open with a big race here. Especially if Ivan can maybe follow it up with a red or something, but it doesn't look like he's able to pull one yet.
Definitely, but at this point he might even put him in range for him to green snipe him if he does get blued, so he's got tons of time to work with right now.
Yeah, so make sure he doesn't trail his teammate. We see a TC up in the top spot. I mean, I guess they must have risked going for blue, and they did end up playing a TC, unfortunately. So
That's right there.
Yeah. Late green coming back, but he's gonna be fine.
Oh, there's the blue, and maybe AC was actually holding it the entire time.
It seems like AC still got maybe bottom 2 running wise, but Charlie was able to do his job hold first. That's kind of like what I said. I mean, the track is pretty easy to do the normal driving, the normal strats, but it's definitely possible to fail some of the cuts, and maybe if you're trying to shroom up at the end. But yeah, not too much happening that race from our perspectives.
Yeah, and at this point, yeah, you're still getting a little bit scared though for MN, seeing that this match is, you know, playing pretty close to how it played, you know, match 1. So it makes you wonder if the same story is going to be told again.
Also, MN going from 2-3-4-5 to, I believe, 2-3-6-7 was that? Something like that? They didn't really, again, hold those spots as well as they could have, but I think that is because they were risking blues, and they ended up getting TC'd at some point on lap 3, which is unfortunate to see, but that's part of the risk that you're taking when you're trying to get a blue.
I think so, yeah. So that's just what happens when you try and roll the dice, and sometimes you don't get the numbers you want.
Also, since AC were holding blue, you know, and MN probably didn't realize that, they were kind of just spamming items with nothing really to gain from it.
Definitely, and you know they did that, and then with that, you know, Vesef got a TC as his reward, which really knocked him down too. So
MN up 11 points after 3. That's pretty much like one really solid race is the difference there. And Rainbow Road Solar Edition. So yeah, this is a track that we saw AC actually picking this last match, because MN are starting in 2-3. They want to be able to get up to the front. And Ivan, I'm going to be interested to watch Ivan this race, actually, because I think he has the BKT here, or at least he did for some time. And he's going to be making moves to get up into first. Noda actually falls off or gets bumped right away. And Ivan gets bumped off himself. So our 2 POVs getting taken out early, and they're going to be struggling for a while. Not too many great chances to catch up on this track. And that's a nice box field from Noda.
To really keep Ivan back, and he is actually going to be able to.
Oh yeah, this is
up for Ivan to really take Ivan out of the race.
Yeah, he's man marking him essentially, just trying to limit what Ivan can do this race as much as possible. And that's something that I don't really think MN would be, you know, going for in this situation. I think AC are a little bit more aware of how they should be using their items, especially early on. But Noda, unfortunately, is kind of going to get
maybe he might be a way to start. Maybe give it to Ivan.
Oh. Yeah, he tried his best there with the TC. Did everything he could to keep Ivan back, and Ivan should be stuck in the back mostly for this race. And we do see MNR in 5-6 as those blonde knees on the map are kind of alone there. So AC with most of the control of top spots, Senota kind of sacrificing himself just to try to keep those top spots for as long as possible.
This is where it's going to get really difficult for Ivan because he had to deal with Noda for so long. Noda's really pushed him back, so it's going to be interesting to see how he can try and bring this back.
It looks like Budog might be running away with Shock here, actually. And that could definitely help out AC a lot.
If that's really what it is, then MN's race isn't looking too good right now, as it looks like he's occupying most of the top spots.
Yeah, the MN's options for catching up are quite limited right now, and AC, I believe they are top 3, and they got a pretty decent lead as well. MN definitely looking to cycle for blues here. They have a lot of mid spots, so the chance of pulling a blue is definitely high for them, but they're going to need probably a little bit more than that. You see, even wasting triple shrooms to get another box.
He does get a Mega. Unfortunately, that Mega's not going to really give him what he wants without the shock in their disposal, so he might actually end up chaining this next set, hopefully maybe trying to get a blue, but it looks like one of AC gets knocked down, which moves...
Yeah, Charlie got I think, redded there on the straight. But, I mean, there's no way they're going to be able to catch this top 2 now, right? Because Ivan is stuck holding this Mega, and, you know, with AC having shock, Noda should be able to call a shock for himself at the end and probably dodge and...
Oh, but there's a blue coming out, though, so you might see Ivan maybe try and predict a cancel?
Yeah, it looks like that's what he's going to go for. Let's see if they do it. They don't, actually, and I think that's a good call because they're probably still going to be top 2 after this, assuming he doesn't get comboed by one of these chomps, which are just... Honestly, those chomps are brutal. They roll wherever they want, and everyone gets hit by those at one point or another.
Even after the blue, there's still a comfortable lead between, you know, Sawyer and Ivan, so...
Looking for the snipe from long range.
Oh, there's the back green, though!
Wow.
He's barely going to stay on the track. There's another blue coming out, though!
Charlie taking a hit. Ivan just trying to hold him back, preventing AC from capitalizing.
There's a shot coming in. He's going to get redded, too!
And he spams a Mega Aftershock. That's crazy. That was exactly what he needed there. That was a good shot
and
call.
There's a power coming in, too. That's going to be a massive pull, and they're still going to be able to hold this 3-4, though.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to be a lot better for AC. I mean, they could have called that shock a little bit later to get Ivan after the box, but Ivan ended up pulling a jackpot item there with the Mega, and I think he squished Charlie as well. Also worth noting that Noda, we saw in our POV, he was really just kind of failing all over the place that race, not really catching up from 8th, and he was also having a tough time pulling the stars or a Bill as well. So he wasn't able to catch up with Shock like he maybe could have had everything gone well for him, but yeah, that is a track that, again, people aren't that great at playing, especially from the back.
Definitely, and at the end of the day, though, MN gets the 3-6, so, you know, a decent amount of damage control by MN that race, and I think they're going to be able to pull into GP2 just ahead by a small amount.
Yeah, very slight lead for MN. Kind of similar GP, same story that we've seen most of the time. You know, there's usually at least 1 or 2 people that are able to hold top spots for almost the entire race, just by nature of these tracks. And then it's really up to the rest of the players to try to benefit from shock and taking whatever shortcuts are available to them.
Definitely, and you know, not too bad either way. You know, getting a nice little GP win is definitely a good Kickstarter in the right direction. So hopefully MN is having a little bit more hope in the call. They're a bit pumped up going into GP2, and hopefully they can keep the ball rolling with this momentum.
Again, it's going to be interesting to see what tracks they opt to go for, now that their options are even more limited. And they kind of have a little bit of an idea of how these races have been going, and maybe they can take that into account as well as they decide what they want to pick next.
So looks like they're... Ooh, okay, Lava Lake. Baby Park?
Oh, Baby Park, a little bit of a strategy shift here from MN. Maybe they're looking to roll the dice a little bit. as Baby Park is another track, kind of like Haunted Woods, where there really is no formula that you can follow to try to win the race. You just kind of have to hope that things work out for you and hope that you don't get hit. Also worth noting that trolling is allowed on this track because it's 7 laps and it's really easy to fall a lap behind. So we'll probably see that happen a little bit, and this race is going to be very entertaining, to say the least.
Definitely is. It looks like actually they're opting to maybe just all run it, I guess.
We'll see. It looks like Charlie's gonna. Is that Charlie stopping? I'm really not sure. I think every team plays it a little bit different. Some teams will have someone go straight back to try to get Shock, and it looks like that's what AC are doing with Boodog, because Shock is really powerful here. Since if you dodge, you can pretty much catch up almost an entire lap. But sometimes what you'll see is one team will run for a little bit, and if someone gets hit to the back or if someone pulls like a mega triple reds, then they'll be the one that decides to drop the troll. So this race could still totally change at any moment. You see Ivan trying to avoid some trolls from Boodog. Boodog clearly does not quite yet have the Shock, but it looks like MN are top 2. Boodog also pulling the Bill in 10th, so that shows us that none of the runners have it yet. But he does actually Bill Desperate out of first, so only top 2 here for MN. Any trolls could totally ruin that for them. Let's see what Boodog's able to come up with here. He's really going to be a pivotal factor in how this race ends up.
Then you have Ivan and Swampy still top 2 for MN going into the last lap, so we'll see if they can really hold this or if there's a shock. But Boodog's going to come in and tries to bump them a little bit, but doesn't actually work out, and it looks like they're going to be able to secure this top 2.
And Zach in 9th place, definitely a really experienced troller. He's definitely much more proud of his trolling ability than his CT bagging ability, and he just went to town that race. He was not pulling any of the bills as we saw Boodog, continuously pulling them himself.
It actually looked like Vesvef got up there too, so that might have been a top 2-4, maybe even a top 3.
Yeah, it just looked like Zach was holding back the entire AC team for, those last 2 laps maybe. They weren't really able to make up any ground, and that's a huge race.
That's a massive race for Manganese.
Yeah. MN's strategy shift of picking the kind of more luck-based trolling track actually really worked out. AC tried to play around Shock. They sent Boodog all the way back, and he got a couple bills at a really important time in the race, which did not help them at all. Because he was only able to connect once, and that limited him. He wasn't able to pull Shock, and that's exactly what MN wanted to happen.
Definitely, really rolling the Baby Park roulette there, and MN hitting the jackpot. So that's definitely going to put them up a large margin going into the midway point of this war.
Yeah, I wonder now if they're going to try to replicate that race. Maybe there are some other trolling tracks that they have at their disposal that they could definitely pick. There's GCN Luigi Circuit, there's Red Loop. There might be 1 or 2 more that I'm forgetting, but they might also try to take advantage of these top spots that they're now starting in, and that looks like it's their choice.
It's their time to shine. They finally got what they were looking for, and now it's time to keep her going.
Bowser's Fiery Fortress. This is 3DS Bowser's Castle. They had to rename it for copyright purposes, but yeah, good track for running. Again, not too much room for using mushrooms, and definitely some good trap spots near the beginning. It kind of plays a little bit like BC Wii for the first few turns, and then after that, there's some wacky strats that should make it pretty easy for them to hold their top spots.
That's fair. Seeing Nota starting in around 6/7, so not a horrible spot to start to get some free shrooms to try and get up there.
It's kind of hard to get boxes though, as we usually see people taking all of them. Sawyer gets taken out, and Nota gets bumped off. On the strat, he tried to just hustle his way through the pack and get up there, but it looks like Ivan dropped back to 8th place for this star here. He's going to be able to hang on to this for a while. 3 AC players in the back, and this is exactly what MN needs to be doing right now. Just having as many players do their fun as possible, just making simple backspin plays, just trying to break away. See a TC slide hit from Swampy there, not able to actually pass that off the but I think MN are still top 2. Ooh, Ivan's going to get
Ivan's going off the track though.
That's brutal. That's so difficult to live from. You have to really be good at preparing to getting bumped and reacting to it as well.
Definitely, and then we're seeing Nota back. It's like all of AC is really representing these, these mid spots right now. I'm not too sure what the top 2 is looking like, but
Interesting spots here because, again, this is a situation we've seen a lot. Oh, the Chatter's blooper making a debut.
What?
And there's a blue shell.
The blue shell coming out too. Noda holding a single red, getting it thrown off. Maybe looking for a combo. It is going to connect.
It is going to reach all the way from back there, and that's one of the things I was about to talk about before we were interrupted by the Chatter's blooper. Is that, you know, when you're 3, 4, 5, 6, you're in prime spots to get blues or TCs, so it's a little bit of a gamble there in mid spots, but it's usually worth the risk. And when your team is oh, there's a shot coming in.
Just getting Noda out of the cannon.
Yeah, but it looks like AC did dodge 3, 4. I think they were trying to get everyone in, but Noda just barely was too far forward. But that's another huge swing, and AC's gonna totally take over this race. Even though it looked like it was gonna be pretty bad for them.
Definitely. Noda getting a nice set of triple shrooms in the fourth, though. He's gonna be able to take these all the way up as far as he really wants to go. Bring him in the fourth. Maybe looking to chain right here. He does get a chain, and he is gonna get a blue shell though.
Oh, and
happens.
That's a huge mega play from Sawyer to get best of out of there. So top 3 now for
Ivan's looking at mega though.
He's just got to run as fast as he can to the line. I don't think Ivan's gonna be able to beat him. And yeah, he got kind of close to falling off there, but that's a top 3 for AC. Huge counterplay from them when MN were top 3, I think, at the start of that race.
Definitely. So AC answering back with another top 3. This is really gonna put a massive damper on that top 3-5 that MN worked for on Baby Park. So
yeah, kind of reversing the effects of that other race. I mean, that was interesting. They just kind of took out the MN players one by one throughout the race without really falling too far behind.
Actually,
in the
they
pack.
completely answered back with the exact same race, basically.
Yeah, that was crazy to see that turn around so quickly. I wonder if MN, you know, were making mistakes up in the front. Maybe they kind of let themselves get hit. We saw they had some chances to keep AC back with that TC that they weren't able to pass. And despite AC kind of getting killed at the start, they played well enough at the end to catch up when they had the chance. And that shock was also huge for them, as it is a cannon track.
Definitely, and that's one of those things that's just, if you're MN, that's completely demoralizing, you know, to get a nice top 3-5 just to have the same thing done back to you again. It's one of those things where you're just begging and begging for a break. You finally get the break you're looking for, and then you just lose everything that you'd worked for within, you know, the next race. So definitely a hard one to stomach though.
And MN go right back to picking another luck track with Resway, the second, actually. A lot of offer there, but it's going to be Wario Shipwreck. This is a track that some teams really like. It's definitely a good running track. It is kind of weird. It has some weird spots that people don't like that much, but I think AC is fond of it, and they are looking to get another good race with these starting top spots. So let's see how well they're able to hold this, because it hasn't worked out for these teams too well so far. And right away, he's going to get redded.
No, they're getting redded immediately. The same thing with Ivan as well, so that puts both them back around the mid-pack.
At least AC are still first. Sometimes you see it happen where, you know, the entire team is able to stay up there, and that's when it becomes really lopsided early on. But sometimes you see, like this race, you know, maybe 1 or 2 players have to sacrifice themselves to allow their teammate to stay in first. And for MN right now, it's just their job to take out as many AC players as possible.
Definitely, you know, take them out as much as you can, but also try and not to overcommit too much to the Schlagen game, because at the same time, you still need to have that front presence to really put more pressure on AC.
Right, and on these tracks that don't have off-road shortcuts, really, you know, and this is also a cannon track, there's a really short cannon, you know, midway through the race, and it's really important that if you can't get up into first, you stay close enough that if your team gets shocked, then you can actually use it to take over top spots again. And Noda is going to be able to get up here. I believe, is this a top 3 for AC now?
Could be, yeah, with Charlie in third, and it looks like, not too sure who that is in first, but
might even be a top 4 actually for AC. I think Sawyer and Stubbs are up here as well. So this track is working out well for them, unless of course MN have shock. They could definitely use a really powerful shock here, as they probably have at least maybe 1 or 2 dodges in the back, and they could dodge another person in the cannon. Um, so it's just going to be a matter of whether or not they can stay close enough to AC's top 3 to catch up later.
That's just it. And right now, you know, it looks like AC's pretty comfortable in this top 3. It looks like they're only breaking away as time goes on.
Yeah, noted with that back right on the Swampy, that's a matter of what I've been saying is that you have to be disciplined enough to, you know, stay close to the front of the pack without committing too hard, taking too many risks, and it seems like MN has been doing that good of a job, but they're gonna bump each other off! A huge blunder from AC, getting in each other's way, not giving themselves enough space.
Actually, it looks like only Noda got pushed off. It looked like Sawyer may have survived, so they can still keep top 2, but it's at that time where, you know, that top 3 would have been really huge for them going in. It looks like Ivan chucking triple reds. He actually is going to connect with him. There's going to be another one going for Charlie. That's going to be Ivan.
Charlie just got redded there. How is this happening? I can't tell if these are huge plays or just mistakes.
It's going to be a 2-3 finish for MN.
Yeah. I mean, again, that was a race kind of like the Bowser's Fiery Fortress race, where it shouldn't really have been able to turn around that much, but I think AC just didn't play safe enough in top 3, you know? Noda and who was that? Charlie got in each other's way before the cannon, and he ended up getting bumped off. That's just not a risk that you should be allowing to happen, you know? They didn't really, yeah.
I think a 2-3-5, which isn't too bad at all. If you're MN with them sitting top 3 that entire race, that's kind of just one of those things where it's definitely a we take those kind of.
Yeah, you just gotta accept that and move on to the next race. So yeah, a little bit of slop from AC in the running department, and that's something that might not have happened, you know, an hour ago when they were first playing.
Definitely a little bit of a hiccup coming from AC with you know, Noda and Charlie just not respecting each other's space, and with that, Noda falls off the track and Charlie gets redded because Ivan gets a nice set of triple reds in third. And then
it looked like he was really close to making it to that turn and avoiding that. It seems like he probably should have been fine, but he just somehow got redded from super far away.
Definitely, and you know, a very nice break coming for MN, because you know that top 3 would have been completely rough trying to bounce back from, you know. So very, very nice to nullify that damage with that set of triple reds.
Yeah, probably some nerves at play as well. Maybe the communication isn't as sharp as it normally would be for these two teams, but I mean, they just got to keep doing whatever they can. They got 5 races to go in this match.
Definitely, and it's still anyone's game, as it's only a 5-point differential within match 2.
This is now they're going even simpler with the track. So Bowser's Castle 4. Long track, good for front running. Probably going to see a blue being pulled by either team. And what does happen a lot of times is one player just kind of breaks away in first while their teammate holds blue and, you know, kind of sacrifices themselves. So it's all going to be about holding first for as long as they can. Definitely,
and we're seeing Noda right now, you know, just kind of drafting, running it up. You know, he's getting bumped a little bit into walls, but he is very content to holding the star, but he's gonna hit a little bit by, I'm not sure what that was.
That might have been like a trail green or something, but he was almost in a really good spot there. If he had drafted up into third, he probably could have used that star, honestly, to take over first if he wanted to, but instead it looks like it's going to be MN. I think that's Chi up there, kind of breaking away in first a little bit, which is exactly what he should be doing right now. And hopefully for him, he can hold that for the rest of the race. Because without being in first here, it's really hard for your team to get a good race, because you have to have that control of the front.
Definitely, and yeah, now the opposite used the chain to star. Goes in, shot coming in, Noda's dodging up. It was single shrooming up. He's going to look to pass Chi right here, and he actually does. Yeah, and I think Stubbs dodged. I think he had Bill in 8th there coming out of lap 1, so top 2 now for AC. Flipping the race around with an early shock. It's a sitting track, so there's going to be plenty of time for either team to get a second one, but as for right now, it seems like AC are totally in control of the entire front. Definitely, you know, switching up to Ivan's screen, we're seeing them chilling in 5th right now. Gets a little bump to a wall, but he does get a shroom out of it to really recover himself. Swampy coming right in front of him with triple red trying to nail Charlie.
Yeah, top 4 for AC. Let's see if Charlie can defend all of these reds coming in.
Like Swampy does actually able to pass him with Ivan as well, so MN moving to 3-4, trying to get reds out on second. Charlie with triple greens coming up, barely just evading those greens by him, but actually Charlie puts him in the dirt again.
This is a nice snipe, and Sawyer actually gets hit from second place. I'm not sure how these top 2s keep falling apart for both of these teams. I feel like they're just not, you know, thinking about where they could be getting redded enough, and a lot of players are leaving themselves defenseless. So now it's just Senota up in first for AC, and the spots after that seem pretty mixed.
AC are chilling in 6-7 though, so AC a little bit further at the back than probably where they'd want to be right now, but Sawyer is absolutely gatekeeping Ivan right now with this red.
Looks like he's going to try to chain his shroom here at the box, but he doesn't really line it up quite right. And Sawyer actually steals his box on the right side, so Ivan has nothing going into this ending portion, and that's going to cost him. He probably should have been a little bit more willing to sacrifice time for a box there. He's very empty-handed right now. Pow's going to come in.
Really going to be looking for a box here, though. He gets that bill, and he actually spams it, so he's going to go as far as he can with this. Going in. There's a shot coming in as well. It's going to take him all the way to second.
Despite everything, I mean,
That's
why bother? Why bother making plays?
Wow. An absolute godsend getting dropped with that bill, coming in with a shock dodge, too, just to bring him all the way at the second for, you know, MN to really nullify any of that damage that AC would have brought to them.
Noda was luckily far enough ahead to hold first, but I mean, what are you supposed to do about a random bill in 8th happening there?
I don't know. It's you don't even expect it, right? Because he literally just had gotten it, spammed it, and then dodged, and just completely like, MN still hanging on too.
And that shot could have been pulled right there as well, because I mean, you think if MN had shock before that, they might have used it for their mid spots, maybe shocking into boxes, TSing someone on that ramp, but it could have been a spam shock as well as the bill. So yeah, MN kind of getting away with some mistakes there. They only ended up, I believe they lost that race by 1. So
Lost the race by a little bit, but MN still hanging on. They still have the lead going into GP3. So
yeah, 4 points though, not really. I don't think anyone's gonna be really comforted by a 4-point lead at this point.
not too comforting, but at least you know if they can afford maybe like, I don't know, 2 races of -1s before they kind of have to, you know, try and dig for a good race here. But they have time. They still have 4 more races, so.
You know, I was just thinking about the best of 3s that I've casted in the past, and I think this is the 4th one I've done, and so far every single one I've seen has gone to a match 3. So maybe I'm a little cursed in that aspect, and maybe MN are gonna have the plot armor that they need to take home this match.
I find that funny because this is my 3rd best of 3 I've casted, and everyone I've casted have gone 2-0. So.
All right, it's a battle of the plot armor then.
So either way, something's gonna be new for a caster, you know.
Yeah, let's see. I think track picks are going to start mattering a lot, as well as which team is getting shock, and Mushroom Peaks for AC. This is a track that they've been picking the whole time, and it's also worth noting that I remember MN picked this at the very end of match 1 because they were trying to get rid of it. They did not want to play this, so maybe AC can capitalize on this race, as this is a track where if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be really, really tough to win.
Definitely, and especially for some of these players who I expect to know and this high of a division how they can, you know, do the full cut shroomless at this point.
Let's see if Noda's going to go for it. Yeah, he is. Let's see if he makes it. This is something that even the best players don't always make. Some people don't even always go for it, but let's see. It's very precise. He's got to get all the right bounces here, and it doesn't look like he's going to do that. Yeah, he definitely, his setup was not that great, and he kind of didn't really save it until it was too late. But now Ivan has a Shroom first. It looks like Swampy failed Shrooms as well, so they're taking the risks. They're going for the big the big plays, but didn't pay off for anyone. And Ivan, who just took the left path and pulled a shroom in the process, is now going to be looking pretty set to win this race.
Not too bad, you know, a really good payoff for, you know, the play it safe. He actually has a decent break in first, too.
I mean,
pretty confident driving right now.
We do see on Nota's screen a blue just went overhead, so Ivan will probably be dodging that, and he'll be itemless in first place. Let's see, he's got to slow down a bit, but he is going to make it happen. Hopping over that ramp, that was pretty nicely done there.
Yeah, very nice execution from Ivan. You know, the patience really pays off in that scenario. So.
And it's also good because, you know, his teammates probably told him, you know, way ahead of time that there was a blue coming out, and so he was prepared for that situation to happen. So now Nota, interestingly, using a shroom on that strat, which does not save very much time, but he's definitely going to be using these other two to take cover.
But he is going to be going off the track.
He's not going to make it. And Ivan actually falls off in first as well in the process, so this is where the slop is really coming out. These teams are probably kind of nervous, and even on AC's track, they're not really doing too hot.
Definitely seeing some of the nerves come in.
Oh my gosh.
Gonna get bumped off he's going to be forced to the right side and just fall off the track.
Yeah, Vespa swerving, just making himself a problem on Nota's screen, and Nota wasn't really able to do anything. Like he tried to get a box, he tried to get away from that other funky time, but he couldn't really make it happen.
The blue shell's coming out for Stubbs, and then Ivan looking for the combo, but I actually think he threw it a little bit too early, so nothing really popped. Those drop pivot.
What a back fib!
Connect.
That was a really smart back here from Ivan. That mushroom spot is like, you know, once you take that jump, it's really hard to change your line. And if you land right on that respawn, it's really sad to get. So Ivan's doing a really good job right now. He's definitely going to try to hit Sawyer at a second here as well, using some of the more common spots, you know, trapping the bottom of these jumps, trapping on the mushrooms that you don't really have time to prepare for. If there's an item there.
Definitely going to be a massive battle here as we're seeing Ivan with the really clever back spams. But Sawyer's also getting a little bit creative with the snipes too, so it's going to be interesting to see who can really out-duke each other.
We see Ivan taking the left path. Actually, he does the bottom route. I guess that's probably just a personal choice, but he's going to be fine. Sawyer's taking the right path in second, looking to make a play on first. Maybe he pulled a mushroom near the end because we saw him throw a red right before this, or maybe he's going for
there's a pop coming in. Maybe it can hit him. It actually looks like he dodges it, and let's see if he can actually continue with the strat.
And he just barely calls. I think he was going for Shroomless based on, you know, his exiting alignment there. He went for it all, but it doesn't work out for him. And looks like Ivan's going to be totally fine to get first here. And we see Nota falling off again on the map, so 1-3 for Emin, and Ivan has pulled enough boxes now to get Shroomglish, so he's definitely 100% getting first this race, and it looks like Nota is also going to be getting last for sure, with the exception of maybe a villain 8. And I think AC might have shock, or maybe Brewdog's just running away at this point, just to get in 9th, but I don't think too much is going to be changing on this point.
Does hit Banana, does fall off the track, but obviously he's so far ahead, it's not going to matter one bit.
Yeah, he is totally fine. A little scary, but when you see, you know, the mini-map, there's really nothing for him to worry about, even though he missed the boost. 1-3 for MN. They're going to take home a decent race. Let's see who can take home the other spots, because every point counts at this stage. And again, still nothing changing, even though he did land on that shell after using all of his shrooms.
I mean, at least Nota was able to recover 6. He didn't get last, so very okay recovery for Nota. But
yeah, that race was really messy. Probably the messiest one we've seen, you know, in terms of people executing their strats. But it was a really good race for MN. Actually, they got all the odd spots. And that's going to give them a little bit of a cushion now with 3 late races to go. And that was a track that they kind of didn't want to play. You know, it seems like they thought that AC was going to be able to take advantage of that track, but it didn't really happen.
Definitely, and it's also nice to have that extra point cushion for MN. But keep in mind, though, they're still not completely out of it. They're out of the pinch. It's still very much anyone's game.
With these tracks being as crazy as they are, and you know, I think these players, they do seem to be pretty nervous. There's definitely a lot of mistakes coming out. If everything goes in one team's favor, they could definitely bring it back in the blink of an eye. So AC have a few more chances to try to take it home right away, but MN definitely have the chance to force a match 3, and that's definitely something that AC wants to avoid because they were probably feeling pretty confident that they'd win before this match, and now it's kind of looking like MN could maybe take this one.
Yeah, the potential is still there, but with only a 13-point lead, it's pretty. It's still a hard order to take though, because it's still very much so super close. But we'll see how it goes on Celestial Ruins.
A really good running track, especially if you can hit those early strats, and I think that's what Ivan's going to be doing up here in first. Notice taking these kind of risky tight lines just to try to catch up to him, maybe draft, but no, he's not going to be able to get anything out of it.
Ivan's gonna drop the fib on him and completely ruin any hopes and dreams he has of staying in those top spots as it pushes him down right to 7th place. Getting a box in 6th though is probably going to be looking for shrooms, but actually lands up short with a single red in 6th.
Yeah, on the beginning of this track in particular, you know, you have to make that choice as to whether or not you want to try to make a play immediately to get into the front, or if you want to just stay close and wait for an opportunity later. And Senota went right for it, and it didn't pan out for him, but I think there was a blue onto Ivan, so his team is still in decent spots, and it seems like the pack is just really, really close, despite there not being a lot of ways to catch up on this track.
Definitely Noah's going to get a really weird trick and actually goes right off the track, so that pushes Noda all the way back into 8th place.
Noda keeps finding himself in these situations where he's getting bumped around on ramps and stuff, and it's really, he has not gotten the better share of these bumps so far.
Definitely.
And we've seen, like, you know, the races where he was doing really well, especially in match 1, is when he was just kind of on his own, doing his own thing, and there wasn't really anyone to get in his way.
Definitely. And what we just saw on Ivan's screen was he just passed the TC over, so MN's got a secure top 2 right now, so MN's looking pretty safe with actually Noda coming up right there in 3rd, so he's right beside Ivan now. He's going to try and outduke him to maybe try and get 2nd. Shock coming in though, maybe get a shock right out first.
An AC shock, as Wario did not spin out. Yeah, Noda's going to be able to pass Bezfef, actually making it all the way back up to first despite getting hit earlier. And let's see who's joining him up here. Looks like it's Charlie, and this is a situation we've seen before, and it looks like they figured it out this time. Noda called out that he was ahead on his screen, and Charlie let him pass. But I think Charlie also had triple greens before that he got rid of, and that would have been a good tool for him to use to schlag the spots behind him and maybe make this race even better for AC, but let's see what they can do. He's trying to Nana Swampy. He's going to look for some snipes. And
maybe he's trying to go for a backflip right here. He does actually miss both of them. It looks like, wait, is that MN 234?
Yeah, and Noda misses the low trick at the end. He's going to get passed, but only by Charlie, actually. That was a really, really crazy situation. Noda tried to read that MN would go wide on that last turn instead of just dropping his fib tight, which was, I can't believe that no one on MN hit that fib, because you usually expect, you know, the last turn, he has an item in first, he's going to back whatever he has, but kind of crazy that it didn't work out as much as it should have. And I also think that Noda could have maybe taken advantage of that situation a little bit more by placing that fib next to the thwomp and just cutting up a lot of space on the track. That would have made it really hard for MN to avoid it, but yeah, still a decent race for AC, but not as good as they wanted.
Definitely with that top 2, bottom 2, it's still going to be enough for MN to still be in the lead, but definitely going to be cutting that lead basically in half with MN going up by, yeah, only
8 points.
8 points, 2 races to go.
Starting in top 2, bottom 2 for AC. They're probably pulling out all the stops to try to win this. You know, it's way too close for either of these teams to be thinking about track strategy for match 3. They're just trying to win this one. You know, it is a must-win for MN, but AC, I'm sure they don't want to send this to a Game 3. They want to take it home immediately, and they do have the chance to do that, so it seems like they're going to go with Sahara Hideout.
Definitely, and, you know, Sahara Hideout getting picked up. It looks like Seaside Resort going on the other hand of the, on the other side of the table, so we'll see what goes to which team.
So Sahara Hideout's a really good track for top 2, bottom 2 because a lot of times people will bag pretty hard to get shrooms because there are some really, really good cuts. But every time every time I talk about a track, it never happens. It's another curse I think I have on commentary.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. So
But
Seaside Resort, this track doesn't get played that often, but I mean it does have some really long straightaways for drafting. So let's see who ends up holding these top spots for a majority of the race because it could definitely change a lot.
and also keep in mind this is also only a one-lap track, so there's a very limited amount of time. You have Bomb coming up, maybe trying to take out Charlie, but doesn't actually quite connect.
Charlie avoids it, but Nota does lose some time from that, and that is pretty important actually because I mean Charlie and Nota could have been drafting each other for a while here on this session, which is pretty open, but unfortunately they're not going to get the chance to do that. So Charlie kind of on his own right now, and one of the things you said about the lap 1 track is that there's some decent shortcuts, but you can only take them once, so whoever takes those is going to have an advantage, especially close to the end where some of the bigger ones are.
Definitely, as you're seeing Ivan coming up too, and that Mega going to be actually taking over first.
Charlie seemed a little bit intimidated by that Mega. He did go really wide just to let Ivan pass. But Noda with this single shroom is definitely in a good enough spot where he can probably catch up later. And I think Ivan just failed a little bit. But Noda kind of... Wait, that red's not going for him, actually.
That red's
it seems like
Charlie.
Wow. That's huge. It seems like he kind of forced to use that shroom.
I think it's AC in the top 2. Top T4 actually.
And whoa, the item's kind of going wild as MN is frantically trying to get AC out of these top spots before they break away too much. It looks like Stubbs is going to shroom all the way up, and so top 3 for AC. If they can get off some key backspams right now, this could totally solidify the race for them. Noda's looking for a back green there, trying to draft his teammates, but unfortunately unable to as these Goombas are getting in the way. He's going to have to look out for these greens from Deathstrip as well.
See,
and he tried to do the... Oh no! He tried to do the Shroombox strat up there, but he fails it, and I don't think that was a risk worth taking. But a TC could actually gain him some spots at the end.
Back in by Swampy! There's a blue shell coming in!
This is the last thing of blue. Swampy, I think that might reach.
He might try and get a back bomb, though. He is going to get TC right before the line.
Blue's going to take out Charlie, and MN are gaining a bunch of spots at the end. That was such a huge turnaround. I can't believe Noda went for that cut.
My goodness gracious.
They were so safe. They were top 3. Oh no. Kind of a choke there from Noda. I really don't think that he really needed to go for it, unless he was maybe scared that MN had shock or that he could get redded if he stayed down on the ground. I don't know. And then that TC, he probably could have made it to the line, but he just ran right into that back red. And with Charlie getting blued on the line, I think MN got a decent race out of it. I don't think they got first, but they seemed to get most of the spots behind that. And that was kind of what they needed, just to hold their lead going into the last race.
Definitely, the thing that we're seeing right now with this match in regards to the first match is that AC are getting these top 3s, but something always happens that causes them to completely lose it.
I know, yeah, a lot of changes in the top spots. Definitely, it seems like it's mostly kind of mistakes that these players are making, either with items or with their driving. But I mean, there's one race left now, and it's clutch time for both of these teams.
I think going into this, I think AC actually might have still won that by like 1 point. So I think it's a 7-point lead for MN going into the last race.
They definitely had a chance to make it a lot better, and that's something that we've seen so many times throughout this series, is that one team looks like they could definitely get a really, really good race out of it, and then some things just kind of go wrong and it ends up being relatively even.
Oh, my apologies. It's an 11-point lead for MN going into this last race. So a little bit decent of a cushion, but AC is going to need a very strong race here to put this in their way to close out this set.
Yeah, still doable for AC, but MN are on the verge of taking their first game off of AC this whole season.
Definitely, and what a way to do it in finals. So let's see if they can pull it off going into the last race of match 2. We're headed to the Sahara Hideout.
AC do get the track pick that they wanted last race. I don't know how well it will work for their spots right now. It seems like they weren't really too coordinated in what they were picking, but this is a track where whoever gets triple shrooms and uses them efficiently on lap 1 should be in a really, really good spot. And think that some people are going to go for that, but it looks like Noda doesn't. He's just going to kind of go forward and maybe let his teammates go for the shrooms in the back.
Definitely, and this is basically do or die right now for pretty much both teams. And MN is literally playing for their dear life.
Oh, he was scared of that red. It looked like it was going to hit him, and he's actually going to get the TC.
He's
trying to back up,
and he is going to give it over to Swampy though.
Yeah, he does eventually get the pass. He was afraid of that red hitting him, and he tried to align for the cut, and he got taken out. Ivan, another mistake there, trying to take that cut with one shroom. You do have to jump pretty far in order to make it out, but he gets triple shrooms in fourth right away, so he's going to be in a good spot now to hold his top spot. But it looks like Charlie just got way out in front somehow on lap 1.
Yeah, I mean, it moves MN to 2-3 though, and this is pretty safe if you're MN right now. So if you're able to really continue keeping this 2-3, you don't really need first, to be honest, to win this match, to take it to game 3. If you can hold at least maybe 2 of the top 4 spots, you're pretty safe.
And Ivan with 2 shrooms in second honestly could make a play to get in the first if things hold up the way they are right now. He seems to be very confident taking the shots on this track, which is what we expect from someone like him who's known for being a fast player. Even in a race 12 situation, he's still going for some sort of riskier strats.
Definitely, and he is still sitting in second, holding these 2 shrooms. So he's pretty comfortable right now. And
going to go for the cut here. And it looks like he burned his second shroom. He was probably afraid that he wasn't going to make it. He kind of messed up afterwards. But again, that's all he needed. They're 2-3. And there's really nothing that they have to worry about right now. As long as they don't pull a TC in third, they are totally safe. And he could just get this one box before Cannon and hold it. And I think AC just dodged their first place in Cannon. It looks like Noda might have dodged their Mega as well. So he needs to make a play on this 2-3 if AC want to win. And another Mega is going to give him that chance, but...
And at this point, he's going to be chaining this Mega here, getting a blue shell though, and that's probably not what they're looking for, though.
It's big, but it's only going to allow him to take out one of the MN players in front of him, because he can definitely lose second on the line.
That's just it, though, and they're still going to be guaranteed second with the blue, and I mean, I don't think that's even going to be good enough if you're AC.
Yeah, unless they get every spot behind it, who knows? And he might even have to... Is he going to waste it here? He might have to block this red. Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't.
He has a blue coming out though. Chains a single green though.
Did he throw that too early? He might have done that too early. I don't actually know if that's going to hit SF. Let's see. How coming in.
Let's see if SF can actually make it. Actually, looks like
he makes it. Wow. So MN, I think MN won the match. They got 2-3, 5.
Yeah, 2-3-5. That's all you need if you're MN to send this into game 3.
Oh man. So, wow, they're going the distance. MN made it happen. I mean, we definitely saw a lot of mistakes both sides that match. Probably more than we saw in the first match, and it seems like the mistakes were really costly in terms of getting those top spots at the end of the race, especially in situations where they were top 3 or top 2, 4, something like that. And MN just had the better of it overall. They pretty much kept their lead for the second half of that game, as close as it did come at some points, but that's going to be it for match 2, so
yeah,
it's now 1-1 in the series.
By 12, so we're going into game 3, boys.
Alright, so I wonder how that's going to affect the mental standings of both of these teams. We'll see how they bounce back in match 3 if the strategies change, but until then, I think we need a little bit of a break. Just to take some time to prepare for this third match, and that will happen as they start to join this room and as AC gets ready to host the last match. So we're gonna be dipping for a little bit. We'll be back though with match 3, the one that decides it all, the D2 CTL Grand Finals. We'll be back. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah, we'll see you guys very shortly.